In this installment, we're going to be going over Thursday Night Football Showdown slate on DraftKings between the Dallas Cowboys going up against the Tennessee Titans. Let's get into it. Hey, yo! Welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Chef D, and I'm here to give you the winning ingredients for your Thursday Night Football Showdown slate on DraftKings between the Dallas Cowboys and the Tennessee Titans. So we have some implications on the playoffs here. Dallas is still trying to fight for that number one seed and the division. And then Tennessee, this game doesn't really matter to them because next week they face the Jaguars anyway for that division for the AFC South. So this tends to lean towards the Dallas Cowboys in this particular game. But before I deep dive into that, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Make sure you follow me on Instagram and Twitter at MetsNetJetsD. Don't forget about that TikTok at Chef_D91. And don't forget about the Patreon where we're putting up DFS picks, we're putting up fantasy football, and we're putting bets as well. All right, for the previous game on Monday, that was a cash right there. We took the Chargers -3. They won by 17 points. The basketball bets that happened yesterday, we went 2 for 2 on that one as well. Mavericks and Pacers came through. Raptors and the Grizzlies fell. Even though the Grizzlies did, I believe they did have that first half. So, guys, don't forget to sign up for that Patreon. You gotta sign up if you want these winning plays. We're gonna have winning plays for this Thursday as well. Before we get into the nitty-gritty of the captain plays and the flex ops, we gotta talk about this injury report for week 17. We are looking at two key areas here. Tony Pollard, the running back. Jerry Jones expects him to play, but he has back-to-back games back-to-back practices Monday and Tuesday with DNP. So we're going to have to wait on news on Wednesday. Hopefully we see a limited out of him with a thigh injury right now. Leighton Vander Esch has 2 practices as well back-to-back with a DNP. So those could be 2 key injuries for the Dallas Cowboys. In this particular game, they are fighting for division and number 1 seed still, okay? Tennessee Titans on the other side of the ball. We have a lot of DNPs from Monday. They have not put up anything for Tuesday, and we're waiting for Wednesday. So you want to stay connected with the injury report for the Tennessee Titans here. Important guys like Danico Autry, Bud Dupree, Derrick Henry, Amani Hooker, Jeffrey Simmons. All these type of guys are going to be key factors going into Thursday Night Football. So if you're on the Patreon, I'll give you an update on the injury report and how it affects some of these players going into this particular game and the DFS plays that we're going to go towards. So other than that, if you're not connected to the Patreon, you need to follow the Tennessee Titans injury report. All right, let's get into the captain. Starting off at the top for the El Capitans, we are going to go with CeeDee Lamb. CeeDee Lamb going up against these Tennessee Titans here. CeeDee Lamb is looking like a number 1 wide receiver finally this year. 4 out of the last 5 games on his schedule, you can see over 20 point fantasy point performances: 20.4, 20.7, 22.7, and 37 fantasy points. That one blip coming against Houston, that's because Houston gives up so many yards rushing that they didn't really need to pass that ball. So CeeDee Lamb in another great spot. Let's look at fantasy points allowed to wide receivers here. And these Tennessee Titans across the board, they struggle at each and every category. So Tennessee Titans 29th overall, 16th in the red zone, 191.1 receiving yards to wide receivers and 1.3 TDs per game. So that's going to bode well for the number 1 option on this offense here in CeeDee Lamb. So I have no problem going towards him, paying high in that salary for CeeDee Lamb at that captain spot. Let's continue to go down for your captains. Derrick Henry has the Q tag. This is the only way that Tennessee Titans can keep it close. They're going to need a huge performance from their lead running back, who's currently questionable, was limited in practice on Tuesday as well. So that's going to be a positive because he was a DNP on Monday. So Derrick Henry is trending towards playing in this game, and this is going to be their bell cow. He saw 23 touches, all right? 126 yards, 5.5 yards a carry against his previous game against Houston, and had 2 receptions as well. All right, 22 fantasy points. That's what you got from Derrick Henry. He's going to need to duplicate that and do a little bit more. If we want to look at fantasy points allowed to the running back positions, the Cowboys, this is one of their weaknesses, all right? One of their minor weaknesses. 10th overall, 8th in the red zone. But the key number here is they're allowing over 100 yards a game to the running back, okay? 4.3 yards a carry. For Derrick Henry, an elite running back like him, that's going to be a positive matchup. So I have no problem going towards Derrick Henry. If you want to shake it up a little bit, go with Derrick Henry as the captain. And you can fill out with a lot of Dallas Cowboys in the flex position, all right? This matchup bodes very, very well for the Cowboys. One bright spot will be Derrick Henry, so we'll put him in the pool. If I like CeeDee Lamb, you know dang sure I like Dak Prescott. He finally had a 30-point performance, and that was in division against NFC East rival, the Philadelphia Eagles. He came through with 3 touchdowns, 347 yards passing, chipped in 41 yards rushing as well. This was a complete performance from Dak Prescott. So hopefully he gets the ball rolling, continues it this week against Tennessee. You need to have a hot start going in towards these playoff games. Dak Prescott is turning up at the right moment, all right? Over 20 fantasy points against Jacksonville, over 30 against Philadelphia. Let's see what he can do against this poor secondary in Tennessee as well, all right? The 2 running backs here for Dallas are both going to be considered in the captain spot. Tony Pollard had 2 DNPs on Monday and Tuesday. We're going to see what happens on Wednesday. If he doesn't get limited, then we can go full in on Ezekiel Elliott here at 8,800. He's going to be someone that we can highly consider at that captain spot if there is no Tony Pollard, all right? So definitely wait on news on that. But if Tony Pollard is in, then you know the more explosive back out of the 2 will be him. He's going to see more of the receiving work. He got 6 receptions, 8 targets, 61 yards against Philadelphia, all right? But he did get hampered with that thigh injury. All right, let's continue to go down. Let's see if we can find some more captain options. Malik Willis is more of a flex play, but the upside with Malik Willis, all right, the only upside, because he has struggled mightily to throw that ball. They don't throw the ball much with him anyway, is the rushing upside. For him to have a great game, he's going to have to provide it with his legs, and that's the X factor here. That's why you would consider Malik Willis at a captain, or you would consider Malik Willis at a flex play, because he can do it with his legs at a very high tendency. All right, 7 rush attempts, 43 yards, and got the touchdown against Houston. If he can chip in a passing touchdown, that would be great. But he saw 2 interceptions, and against this defense, they're going to be hounding him like crazy. But the only upside is that rushing upside. So risky at the captain, but Malik Willis is a decent flex play because of that rushing upside. You cannot discount these rushing quarterbacks. That is huge fantasy points now, okay? It's really big. You got Justin Fields. You got Lamar Jackson, all right? Those are huge X factors. Malik Willis can do that, all right? So he is in consideration, more likely a flex. Let's continue to go down. We got Michael Gallup. Michael Gallup is turning up a little bit as we get to the stretch run here. 3 out of the last 5 games, as you can see, over double-digit fantasy points. That is a positive to see from Michael Gallup coming back from that injury. He's looking like a little bit like his old self. So this is going to be positive for the Dallas Cowboys to have a nice 1-2 punch at the wide receiver position. Michael Gallup can be considered as a captain, all right? Let's don't forget about the tight end position here in Dalton Schultz. This is another spot that the Tennessee Titans struggle against. Let's look at fantasy points allowed to that tight end position. We're going to flip it around here, and the Tennessee Titans are 28th overall against tight ends, 8th in the red zone. So they're giving up yardage, 69 yards a game to tight ends, and 5.6 catches a game to tight ends. So Dalton Schultz, who is the number 1 tight end on this offense, he's been seeing solid work, solid touches, solid amount of targets. They do use a plethora of tight ends for the Cowboys, but Dalton Schultz still is that number 1 guy, and I wouldn't be surprised if he gets in the end zone in this particular game with a great matchup going up against Tennessee. All right, let's see if we have any more captain that we can consider. I think that's pretty much it. Let's move over to the flex ops. Now to the flex ops. where are we going to start with these flex ops? All right, I last left off on Dalton Schultz. We're going to continue to go down. We're going to start off with the Cowboys defense. Cowboys defense are in a very good spot, despite the fact that they're on the road. This is a quarterback in Malik Willis, rookie quarterback that has tendencies to turn over the football. And if we look at fantasy points allowed to defenses, this is a great matchup for the Dallas Cowboys. Let's flip that ranking around. And the Tennessee Titans are 28th ranked, giving up about 8.6 points to opposing defenses here. And this is a very opportunistic defense here in the Dallas Cowboys. They have 14 interceptions this year. They have a ton of sacks. They have a ton of fumble recoveries as well. So this defense is already averaging 10.3 fantasy points per game. So Dallas Cowboys can be a flex option and can be considered as a captain as well, because Malik Willis tendencies to turn over the football. He's not that great of a thrower. He might be in situations where he's going to be forced to throw the football, and that's going to be very good for the Dallas Cowboys defense. Trayvon Diggs, Micah Parsons, they can get things very, very ugly for the Tennessee Titans and Malik Willis. All right, some other flex plays we can go towards. Treylon Burks, their first-round rookie wide receiver. He didn't receive a reception at all, so these numbers are super, super ugly, the passing-wise, for the Tennessee Titans. So we're going to have to throw some darts here. We have to go with some upside. Treylon Burks is going to be one of those guys. And technically, if we look at fantasy points allowed to wide receivers, Dallas Cowboys are giving up some yardage as well. Dallas Cowboys 31st and 31st in the red zone as well. 181 receiving yards to wide receivers, 1.9 TDs. So if we're going to choose a wide receiver in the Tennessee Titans, I want to go with the guy with the most upside. He was looking like he was getting things started with Ryan Tannehill here in week 11 and week 12. He had 2 great games there, but obviously Malik Willis is not the same quarterback throwing wise, capability wise right now. But Treylon Burks has a ton of upside. I would consider him as a wide receiver option. The second wide receiver option I would consider on the Tennessee Titans would be Robert Woods. Okay, he had 4 receptions, 4 targets, 30 yards against in that previous game against Houston. So those are going to be 2 Tennessee Titans we can consider, despite the fact that it will be very, very ugly. A tight end that I wanted to keep going at. He has a lot of athleticism. Poor game against Houston, but he was coming off a nice string of games in week 13, 14, and 15. Hopefully, we can get a bounce-back performance from Chig Okonkwo. This is the tight end I'm going to choose over their other tight end in Austin Hooper. This guy is emerging. He's a rookie. He has super, super freak athleticism and ability at that tight end position. So he would be someone I can consider as a flex that has some upside. All right, so those are 3 Titans we can look at. T.Y. Hilton would be the third wide receiver. He's a dude that's going to just continue to run go routes. He was able to come up with a big catch in week 16 against the Philadelphia Eagles. That 52-yard catch was very, very clutch and crucial on the 3rd down, and T.Y. Hilton came through. That's a dart throw here. He's a dart throw flex play, but this is a 1-game slate. You're going to have to get a little bit cute here. If we're looking at kickers, all right, we're not playing the Titans defense. I would consider the kicker for the Tennessee Titans in Randy Bullock, all right? Obviously, poor performances. They would need to get they would have to get to the opposing side of the football for him to even get up a field goal. That's why you see horrible numbers here. But technically, fantasy points allowed to kickers, Cowboys, this is one of their weak spots. We're going to flip that around. And the Dallas Cowboys are 23rd overall, giving up about 8 fantasy points to opposing kickers. So Randy Bullock technically is in a good spot. Do you trust that Malik Willis and the Tennessee Titans can move the ball to the Cowboy side for them to get in field goal range? This could be hit or miss here. They are the home team in this particular game, so I would consider Randy Bullock as a kicker. Let's clear this out and see if we can find any more gems down low here. Let's see. Brett Myers, the opposing kicker. I think that Dallas Cowboys is going to be scoring a lot of touchdowns, but you can consider him in a situation where obviously they're up big, they're moving the ball. and the Tennessee Titans defense can stop them on some third down key situations to keep this game kind of close. Brett Maher can be an option. So no problem with both kickers. Only going with the Dallas Cowboys defense. All right. Anyone lower than that? Let's see. We have Hendershot. We have Jeff Swaim is a former tight end. So this is a little bit of a revenge game you can think about and consider. That would be a super dart throw. He doesn't get much anyway in the receiving game. You don't want to go down here. You don't want to go this far down. I don't think you need to anyway. The furthest I would go down would be Jake Ferguson and Hendershot. Those are the backup tight ends for the Dallas Cowboys that they do utilize and have had some touchdowns in previous weeks. So we'll consider those two tight ends there. The furthest I would go would be Hendershot, but that's a super dart throw. Let's go with the 3 locks of this slate. We're going to start all back at the top. Dak Prescott is in a great spot. This is a poor secondary here in the Tennessee Titans. I have no problem going towards him. Let's go with CeeDee Lamb as the number 1 option on this offense as well. And if we're choosing a Tennessee Titan to go with, it's going to have to be Derrick Henry. So this is a pricey core here, and we're going to have to get and find some gems down low. I gave you some guys you can consider. This is a game that you can look at the Cowboys defense. You can look at the Cowboys kicker. You can look at Dalton Schultz and the other backup tight ends that might have a possibility to getting in the end zone as well. And if Tony Pollard is out, their backup running back, let's see. Their backup running back will have to be Malik Davis. All right. So if there's anything that happens to Tony Pollard, then Malik Davis would be the backup running back in this situation. All right. So thank you guys for tuning in. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Make sure you follow me on Instagram and Twitter at MetsNetJetsD, and I'll be back with another video very soon. All right. Peace out, guys.